Oh, g'day everyone. Welcome to this edition of Durko's Notebook for the Russian Grand Prix. It's been a long week. Thought I might just sit down and relax for 5 minutes. Anyway, got a lot to talk about. So pull up a pew, sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Many years ago, Herman Tilke was, of course, tasked with the challenge of sharpening his pencil and designing a circuit around the Sochi Olympic Park. Of course, he came up with the Sochi Autodrome. And for me, at 5.85 kilometres long with 18 turns in the clockwise direction, it's probably not one of the most exciting circuits I know of because there's only elevation change of about 2 metres across the whole circuit. Now, the interesting fact is Merck is the only engine manufacturer or team that's ever won at that race. Even when it was going back to the 1913, 1914 race in St. Petersburg, Merck won those two races as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next year with all the aero changes and regs changes and all that sort of shit as to maybe another manufacturer or engine supplier may actually break the stronghold that Merck have had on winning at the race for over 100 years now. Of course, the famous Turn 4, as I say every year, it's longer than the queue at a Moscow bakery to get around it. I don't find it that exciting. Some people say Turn 4 is a challenge because they're just on barrelling around on the edge all the time, going round and round and round. Anyway, as I've said, I don't find the Russian Grand Prix at Sochi the most interesting race, and I hope that it does stay within Russia for what it is culturally, but goes to a different circuit that's a bit more exciting. FP1, Norris had a weird spin as he came into the pit entry. He just bagged it up and very slow speed, just went 90 degrees to the corner and strange. Fortunately got out of it. FP2 was a non-event. FP3 was washed out. It was wetter than a sailor's dream, so there was just no chance of putting the car on the circuit for that event. Quali, Max went to installation lap, obviously because he's taken on a new donk for this race, and it was a strategic move by Red Bull to give him the new donk for this race because Merck weren't sure when he was going to do it. But Horner had suggested some time ago it was probably going to be more than likely Russia, and they came through with that. So Max just had a balls out Honda there, bolted to his gearbox for him to play with. And Norris went on to sensationally grab his first pole of his career, and Russell third. I mean, that was just outstanding for Williams. I think since Josko Pito's gone there, there's been some real changes. I mean, yes, it was sad to see the Williams family go, but there's been a couple of changes with the management. And Josko Pito is a bloke who's had success with VW in the World Rally Championship program, and I think he's really starting to get to the pointy end of where Williams were going wrong and steering them in the right direction. So we get to the race. Overall, it was a great race. I've got to say, because usually I find Russia a boring event, as I do for Azerbaijan, but they're the two that I really don't like. But for me, this was a real seat of the edge of the seat race, and I really enjoyed it. It was just a great challenge. There was constant battles going on between the front of the field, the midfield, the back. There was strategy calls. When's it going to rain? Everyone was looking out to the north, out to the sea, to watch all the clouds come in. What time was the rain going to hit? A really great event overall, and I was surprised how good it turned out, as I said. Overall, I've got to say, Max had the outstanding drive for the whole weekend, coming from the back of the grid to just surge through the field. Real mature drive, clean. He had his head screwed on. He was in the right place. He found the gap. He went for it. Bottas just went, yeah, sure, mate. I'm out of here. This team at the end of the season, I don't give a shit anymore. You just go through and just go straight through. Thanks, Max. Yep, no worries. Thanks, Valtteri. See you later. Yes, as I said, clean, mature drive from Max. So well done to him. The idea of the slower pit stops, it caught a couple of teams out. I know with Norris was a bit of a slow stop. And with Red Bull again, I think with Perez. Now, I think this idea of slowing the pit stops down is just absolutely bloody ridiculous. It's just shit. It's going to ruin the sport because we see part of the action we want to see is who gets the quickest pit stop on the weekend. Slowing it down is just not going to work, and I hope they scrap it as soon as possible. So, yeah, if anyone from the FIA is watching this, because I know a few people have been watching the videos, which I'll explain at the end of the show, I hope somebody has a word in Michael Massey's ear or the race directors or somebody, Jean Todt, whoever is at the top, to say this idea is just stupid and it's got to go. So the last 6 laps, that's when the rain came in, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Lando's only got himself to blame for not pitting. His engineer said, come in for some inters at least. He said, no, I'm going to keep going. Now, Lando should have had the mindset, the nous, the gravity in his balls to say, right, I'm this close to the ground, I'm on hard tyres, it's a wet track, I need to go in and put a set of inters on. Everyone else was doing it. Lewis did it, and it paid off for Lewis, obviously, because he got his 100th win. But for Lando to just stay out and say, no, I can keep going, it was like a dog on lino. He just had no grip. He just understeered off. 2 cars just pissed off past him. One of them was Lewis, of course. But Lando, mate, you could have had your first win, but, you literally just say you threw it away is an understatement. One thing I know didn't get much mention was Stroll literally pushed Vettel into the wall in the closing laps. And I don't think anything came of it. I thought it was just a weird incident that Vettel was admittedly going down the outside of Stroll right on the wall. And Lance has just come across, bang. And I don't know how Vettel got out of it without any damage, like bending his steering rod or suspension arm or whatever he didn't bend. He'd been kissed on the dick literally to get out of that without having more damage to his car. I don't know how that happened. So just a weird event. Aston Martin, they have some luck when they get fuel in the car at least, they get disqualified. But I think maybe Lawrence or somebody at Aston Martin's got to sit. When Martin Whitmarsh gets there, he might have to sit Lance down and Vettel and Sebastian and say, right, you guys are going to clear your grievances out here in the team motorhome, not on the circuit, just to clean it up. So that was it overall. Great race. I'm going to give it four this weekend. I'll give it 4 Maldonados as the score. 4 out of 5 Maldonados. Overall, really surprisingly great race, as I said. I was expecting it to just be another boring non-event, but certainly showed me what F1 can do when we have a good event. So guys, you might have noticed, just on a side note, you might have noticed a few changes recently regarding the group, especially the logo that I've been using for a number of years, that Tony Dunn successfully designed for us, and that logo was great for a while. But due to some legal actions, I've had to effectively take the logo out of public view, hence the T-shirt's now just straight black, the microphone flag's gone, and there's been a few changes here to the notebook and the usual jazz song intro that goes with it. So that's just to explain. There's a few slight changes in the group regarding the branding, but we're going to stay strong and try and be the best group we can on Facebook and keep you guys entertained and informed of what goes on. So I finally got this notebook done. Like the Russian Revolution, it eventually came to an end, and I was able to sit down and record this for you after a long week, sending emails back to a particular law firm in Sydney I won't name. So anyway, that clears up that little matter, and we can move on from here. We will remain the F1 Armchair Experts forever. I won't lose that name. They've at least guaranteed me that in writing, so that's something. So it's been a long week. Anyway, move on to Turkey next week, and they've changed the surface there, of course, because it was a bit slippery last year. And let's see if, the change of the surface, if they can really dial some good times and go through turn 8 there at the Istanbul Park circuit. So until then, thanks again for watching this edition of Durko's Notebook for the Russian Grand Prix, and I'll see you next week with the Turkish Grand Prix Notebook. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.